In the last few years, our national debt has skyrocketed. Number one, how serious do you think this problem is? And number two, what do you propose to do about it?
Well, how serious I think it is that if we do nothing, let's say we just decide we're not going to do anything about the debt, in less than a decade, we will have a debt crisis that will collapse our economy and send the world into chaos. It's an enormous issue, and we have to deal with its cause. So let me tell you, first of all, what's not causing the debt. Okay? And I'm not telling you we should ever waste money on anything, because every dollar the government is wasting is a dollar that isn't helping. But let me tell you what's not causing the debt. Military spending does not cause our debt. It is not the cause of our debt. Foreign aid is not the cause of our debt. I have a lot of people tell me, cut foreign aid and balance the budget. Well, foreign aid is less than 1% of our budget. In fact, only 30% of our budget are things we can control. 70% of our budget is what's called mandatory spending. It is the money that we must pay people for Social Security and Medicare because we made a contract with them. And we're going to keep that contract. You worked, we took money out of your paycheck, and when you retire, you're going to get money back because you contributed to this fund. And the other portion of that is the debt, the interest on the debt. You have to pay the interest on the debt or you default. That's 70% of our budget. You cannot solve your debt crisis by only focusing on 30%. You've got to fix the 70% side. And that's going to involve fixing and saving Social Security and Medicare. Now, let me talk about that because that's often demagogued. So let me begin by saying this. I think this is a pretty good policy. I laid a bright line on this years ago. I am against anything that's bad for my mom. My mom is 85 years old and she's on Medicare and Social Security. I don't want to see any changes that are bad for my mother. And here's the good news, the really good news. We don't have to disrupt anything for her. We don't have to disrupt anything for anyone who's retired or about to retire. But here's the truth, and your next president better be someone that's willing to say it and do something about it. There is no way Social Security and Medicare looks the same for me as it did for my parents. It won't. It'll either be bankrupt or we've made some reforms to it, and hopefully in time. So what do I mean by reforms before anybody gets too nervous? They're not unreasonable. Right now I'm supposed to retire at 67 under current law. I may have to retire at 68. Right now, if I've made a lot of money, my cost of living increase will not be as big as someone who made less money. Medicare could very well be the option of taking my Medicare money and using it to buy a private plan that I like better. These are not unreasonable changes to ask of a 44-year-old who feels 45. Maybe 46 after this week, but in exchange for saving Social Security, not disrupting it for the people that are on it now, and ensuring that it still exists for me and future generations. If we do this now, we can do it this way. If we wait 5 years or 7 years, it's going to be really chaotic. If we wait too long to do this, they may not be able to save these programs without disrupting it for the people that are on it now. This is not politics, this is math. These programs were designed when there were 16 people paying in for every person that was receiving it. Now it's down to 3 people paying in to every person receiving it. And soon it will be 2 people paying in for every person receiving it. So the math breaks down. We have got to save these programs. So if we act now, we can do it. But it deals with reforms for future generations, people that are 25 or 30 years away from retirement. And when Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders come to you and say, all we have to do is raise money on rich people, it's not true. You run out of rich people, and it's not enough money. This is the only way to do it, but we have to do it now. And if we do it, we can bring our debt under control. We can save Social Security and Medicare. We don't have to disrupt it for people that are on it now or about 10 years from retirement. And we'll have to make some adjustments for people like me that are years away. We have no choice. The next president of the United States will not be able to serve 2 terms without dealing with this issue. It will confront us one way or the other. And the sooner we confront it, the easier. It will never be easy, but the easier it's going to be. The longer we wait, the closer we get to a day when America has a debt crisis. And if America has a debt crisis, it won't be like a Greek debt crisis or an Illinois debt crisis. If America has a debt crisis, the impact on the world will be dramatic.